The galaxy carried old warnings inside its bones. Warnings carved not by historians but by survivors. Across star academies, across forgotten moons, across drifting colonies that barely clung to life, young pilots were taught one ancient truth: never attack a silent ship. No one knew who first said it. No one knew which war created it. They only knew the warning lived longer than most civilizations. Silent ships were not abandoned. They were dangerous. Silent ships did not sleep. They watched. Silent ships did not drift. They waited. But the pirate fleet called the Red Fangs believed themselves stronger than fear. They believed legends were lies told by the weak. They believed history never punished the bold. And on a forgotten night at the edge of a dead star, they found the one ship they should never have touched. The Red Fangs detected it at first as a faint dot, barely glowing against a black background. Sensors zoomed in. No shields. No energy. No crew signals. No movement. It looked like a corpse floating in eternal cold. The pirates laughed. Many ships had died in this region due to storms and gravity fractures. It was a graveyard of metal, and graveyards were profitable. They circled the silent vessel like hungry wolves around a wounded animal. Their scanners whispered a strange detail. The ship was old. Very old. A design style no one had seen for centuries. The pirate commander Vorkal stood at the heart of the flagship, his tall frame illuminated by dim red lights. His eyes were sharp, hungry, full of greed. His jaws opened slowly, revealing serrated teeth. "Magnify hull markings," he ordered. The projection expanded. Scratches, dents, dust, and a symbol. Old, worn, half-faded, but unmistakable. A human insignia. The room fell silent. Even criminals carried fear in their veins. Humans were a myth, but not a childish one. Every race feared them for reasons they could never explain. Parents warned their children, never provoke a human. Elder monks whispered, a human's silence is their final mercy. Soldiers carved into war manuals, do not corner a human. Ever. But centuries passed, and humans disappeared. Their planets turned dark. Their colonies vanished. Their fleets stopped responding. People believed them extinct. Legends became stories. Stories became jokes. And jokes became forgotten ashes. Vorkal smirked slowly as if tasting the fear of his crew. It's human-made, he said. Humans are gone. He leaned closer to the screen. And this ship is ours. The decision carved doom into the stars. Grappling hooks launched like spears of metal, crashing into the silent vessel. The hooks dug deep, locking with vicious metallic clanks. Boarding teams prepared themselves, sealing helmets, arming plasma saws, loading charge grenades. Engineers stepped forward to override what they believed was a dead engine core. Ship-to-ship tubes extended like metallic veins, hungry to enter the ship's dark interior. Nothing moved. Nothing reacted. Nothing resisted. 5 long seconds passed, heavy like suffocating smoke. Pirates smirked. Vorkal laughed. See? Human junk. Nothing but old bones. Then the universe shifted. A sound rose from the silent ship. Not a beep, not a siren, not an alarm. It was a hum. A deep, ancient hum that vibrated through metal, through sensors, through bones, through hearts. A hum too old, too heavy, too alive. It shook the pirate fleet until consoles flickered and teeth rattled. The boarding teams froze inside their tubes. Engineers stepped back in instinctive terror. Even Vorkal, cold and merciless, felt a jolt of something he had forgotten: fear. The silent ship was waking up. Every pirate display turned black. Then white text began carving itself into the screens like invisible hands writing warnings from beyond time. Unauthorized contact detected. Analyzing hostile force. Human defense protocol. Awakening. The hum grew louder, the kind of sound ancient mountains would make if they opened their eyes after a million years. The pirates panicked. Cut the lines. Disengage. Reverse engines. We should not be here. Fear was a living thing now. It crawled across every ship. But it was too late. Grappling hooks refused to release. Boarding tubes locked and melted shut. Engines refused to ignite. One pirate screamed as his screen flickered with a final message: human ship fully active. Then the ship breathed fire. Not normal fire. Not plasma. Not laser. Not missiles. It erupted with a blinding white burst that didn't explode outward but expanded like a pulse, as if the ship was not attacking but cleansing. The pulse washed across the pirate formation. Hulls cracked. Shields collapsed. Systems died. Entire engines screamed as they were forcefully overwritten by a code far beyond modern technology. Inside the flagship, Vorkal staggered as sparks rained around him. He tried shouting orders, but his voice drowned under the storm of alarms. "What kind of ship is this?" he roared. No one answered. Because the next message arrived across every pirate screen, every frequency, every channel, every brain. Defensive Measure 1, Neutralization. The pulse hit. Pirate ships across the formation turned into silent, drifting shells. Lights died. Engines froze. Weapons dropped offline. It was as if the ship had reached into their hearts and switched everything off. Total silence. Total darkness. Total surrender. Then came Message 2. Defensive Measure 2, Purification. A thin beam of white energy emerged from the human ship, moving calmly, peacefully, silently. It touched the nearest pirate cruiser. The cruiser did not explode. It turned into dust. Soft gray dust drifting into space like ashes falling from a forgotten funeral. The Red Fangs watched in frozen terror as the beam moved ship to ship, erasing metal, erasing years of bloodshed, erasing everything they ever were. Vorkal whispered, voice shaking, "Humans were extinct. How is this possible?" The human ship responded with one final message that felt like a whisper from a buried god. "Humans, do not die. Humans, return." And then the beam reached his flagship. Space was silent again, but not the normal silence of cold stars. This silence felt heavier, as if space itself was holding its breath. The ashes of the Red Fangs still drifted like gray snow around the region, forming a cloud of death that stretched across kilometers. And inside that field of dust, one tiny courier ship floated, small, fragile, powerless. Its pilot, Raral, never thought he would witness something like this. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't brave. He wasn't even supposed to be here. He carried packages, not weapons. He delivered letters, not warnings. But fate had placed him at the edge of a nightmare, and now he was the only living witness to something the galaxy believed impossible. Raral's eyes shook as he watched the last particles of the pirate flagship dissolve into nothing. He had seen storms destroy colonies. He had seen wormholes swallow ships whole. But he had never seen a ship erase life so silently, so calmly, so emotionally. There was no hatred in the human ship's attack. No anger. No glory. It felt like the ship was simply executing a rule written into its soul. And that terrified him more than any weapon could. His hands trembled as he pressed the recording panel. His ship barely worked. The blast had disabled half his systems. The lights flickered like a dying heartbeat. But his recorder still functioned. Somehow. Maybe luck. Maybe fate. Maybe the universe wanted someone to carry the truth. He zoomed in on the human ship. It did not chase him. It did not threaten him. It simply floated in the center of the dead battlefield, glowing faintly with the afterburn of its attack. It looked untouched, calm, almost peaceful, like a lone guardian standing over a graveyard it didn't want to create. Raral whispered, voice shaking, What are you?" The ship turned slightly, as if it heard him. Raral froze. The sensors on his screen changed on their own. Numbers shifted. Frequencies realigned. Someone, was scanning him. Non-hostile vessel detected. A mechanical voice echoed across his speakers. Raral's blood turned cold. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It wasn't dramatic. It was calm. Too calm. The kind of calm someone uses when they can kill without effort. He swallowed hard and tried to speak, but his throat felt locked. I am not a pirate. I saw what you did. I won't. Observation acknowledged. He felt the temperature inside his ship drop. Was this the end? Would he be erased too? Would he die because he saw too much? His heart hammered like a trapped bird. His breathing grew sharp and uneven. Then the next words appeared on his screen. Warning. Information leak detected. Raral felt his soul collapse. He was dead. He knew it. Nothing in the galaxy survived after seeing something humans didn't want others to see. Every species had the same old whisper: humans protect secrets with fire. His ship shook as the human vessel rotated fully toward him. Its hull plates shifted, glowing softly. The air around his tiny courier ship vibrated with an invisible force. No, please, he whispered. I have a family. I didn't attack you. I didn't hurt you. Please. The message changed again. You saw nothing. Raral's eyes widened. The text blinked once, twice. Then his screen went black. For a full second he thought he was dead. And then, his ship restarted. Power returned. Engines powered up. Systems repaired themselves. Wounds healed as if an invisible hand had touched them. The human ship didn't kill him. It fixed his vessel. Saved him. Released him. He didn't understand. Why? Why spare him? Why repair him? Why send him away instead of erasing him like the pirates? His answer came through a final message. Leave this region. Survive. The galaxy must remember. The message vanished. The ship went silent again. Then it vanished. No jump signature, no light trail, no warp echo. One moment it was there, and the next it was gone. As if it slipped into a dimension where human ships were never meant to be seen. Raral collapsed into his seat. He wasn't shaking because of fear anymore. He was shaking because something inside him had changed. He had seen a human ship awaken. He had survived the fire. He had been chosen, not killed. He pressed the emergency transmission button. His voice cracked. This is Courier Raral, sending priority recording, category, impossible, category, world-changing, category, humanity. His screen blinked red. Warning, you are transmitting forbidden data. He whispered, trembling, I don't care. For the first time in his life, his voice held strength. The recording uploaded.it was on its way to the Galactic Council, and Raral, still breathing, still shaking, still alive, understood one thing with a heavy heart. If the Council saw this, the galaxy would never sleep again. The Galactic Council Hall was built to feel powerful. Its pillars were taller than star destroyers. Its floors were carved from the heart of dead planets. Its ceiling displayed the map of the galaxy, shining with the light of every known star. 600 alien rulers sat inside it. Scaled, furred, winged, armored. Creatures who commanded armies, crushed rebellions, and shaped the rules of entire civilizations. They were arrogant. They were loud. They feared nothing. Until Raral's message arrived. His transmission hit the Council's central core like a meteor. Alarms blared across the chamber. Security shields rose around the delegates. The main holoscreen flickered with a red border, the color used only for extinction-level threats. Every voice fell silent. The screen lit up with the recording. The Council watched the Red Fangs approach a silent human ship. They watched grappling hooks attach. They watched boarding teams enter. They watched the ship wake, slow, ancient, terrifying. They saw the hum, the messages, the pulse, the dusting of entire warships. They watched pirate destroyers dissolve like sand falling from broken fingers. And then they saw the final message glowing like a warning carved by a god. Humans, do not die. Humans, return. When the recording ended, the chamber did not breathe. Some delegates clutched their chests. Some trembled. Some stared at their claws, asking themselves why they were shaking. When the fear was too much, someone screamed, "This must be fake. Humans are gone. They are myths." But no one believed their own words. An elderly scholar from the Vaughn species stood slowly, his eyes filled with sorrow. "I studied ancient human data," he whispered. This is their technology, their style, their principles. Their vengeance. His voice cracked. The Red Fangs were lucky. Lucky, a reptilian warrior roared. They were turned to ash. Yes, the scholar replied quietly, but humans did it gently. The room shivered. Council leader Threxmar slammed his fist on the table. His voice trembled with anger and terror. Why would a human ship appear now? After 900 years of silence? After their planets went dark? After their colonies vanished? Why now? A small, frightened delegate spoke softly. Maybe they never disappeared. Another voice whispered, maybe. They were watching. A chill crawled across every spine. The security commander interrupted, voice sharp. This recording, has it been verified? A technician bowed his head. Yes, Commander. Not only is it real, we detected something else. Everyone leaned forward. What? The leader demanded. The blast. The pulse. The message. The movement of the ship. All of it came from a technology level beyond our top-tier fleets by at least 12 generations. The hall erupted. Impossible. No race can skip that much evolution. They vanished centuries ago. How could they build this? They must have found something. They must have discovered a power we never understood. A deep, trembling voice stabbed through the noise. A four-armed general stood, massive and battle-scarred. Humans were always strange, he said. They evolved fast. They learned fast. They adapted fast. Too fast. The council feared their potential even before they disappeared. An elderly insectoid tapped the table. We banned them from certain research. We restricted their access. We tried to stop them. Maybe that's why they left, someone whispered. Silence. A silence filled with old guilt. Old secrets. Old fears. Then the council leader spoke the truth everyone avoided. We thought humans died. But they did not. They went somewhere. They hid something. They planned something. A cold realization hit every delegate. If humans returned, they didn't return by accident. A trembling alien asked, "What does this one ship want?" The security commander answered, "Surveillance data shows it moving between systems. Not attacking. Only scanning. Searching." Searching for what? The leader demanded. The commander's voice fell to a hush. For other human signals. The entire chamber began shaking, not from explosions, but from panic spreading like wildfire. Delegates pushed away from their seats. Some tried to flee the hall. Guards blocked exits. Sirens echoed. A furious warlord shouted, "We must gather fleets and intercept this ship." No. Yes. We attack now. We hide. We negotiate. We run. Chaos became a living creature inside the chamber. The leader roared, "Enough." But the hall was collapsing under fear. The very idea that a human ship was alive, active, awake, was enough to make entire empires tremble. Then something happened that froze the room completely. Another alarm. Another message. Another scan. The technician's voice broke as he read it aloud. Council detection grid shows. A second human signature. A stronger one. Approaching from deep space. The floor shook from gasps. No, a second one? This cannot be real. Not another. We won't survive this. The giant screen flickered with new data, coordinates, speed, energy levels. The signal was massive. Older. Heavier. More powerful, the leader whispered. Is this a human warship? The technician swallowed. No, sir. Then what is it? The technician looked up with hollow eyes, a human dreadnought. The room died, not figuratively, emotionally, spiritually. The air itself felt thinner. Delegates collapsed into seats. Some buried their faces in their hands. Others whispered prayers from dying religions. Generations grew up thinking humans were a story. Yet 2 human ships were now awake, and one of them was powerful enough to crush whole armadas. The leader's voice cracked. What do they want from us? The technician spoke, barely breathing. Sir, They sent a message. The hall held its heartbeat. What message? The technician pressed the file. The message appeared silently across every screen. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. 2 human signals, both alive, both active, both beyond anything the Council had ever measured. Civilizations trembled. Merchants closed trade routes. Border planets shut down traffic. Ancient species prayed to gods they had abandoned centuries ago. But not everyone felt fear. Some felt excitement. Some felt arrogance. Some believed this was their chance to prove superiority. And no empire carried arrogance like the Croc's dominion. The Crocs were born in war. Their bodies were covered in bone armor thicker than starship plating. Their jaws could crush steel. Their hearts were forged in a culture where victory mattered more than breath. They ruled half a sector with sheer brutality. Their children were raised not with songs, but with weapon manuals. Their generals considered fear a disease. And when they heard about a human ship destroying the Red Fangs, they didn't tremble, they laughed. Inside the Dominion war chamber, General Drakavern, a giant creature with glowing bloodlines across his skin, slammed his fist on a stone table so hard it cracked down the center. "These cowards in the council tremble at shadows," he growled. "A single human ship appears, and they panic. Pathetic." A warrior beside him smirked. Humans were fragile. Soft. Weak. Fragile bones. Slow hearts. No claws. No natural armor. Their destruction was inevitable. Draka grinned with dripping confidence. And now the council thinks they returned as gods? No. They returned as fools who forgot their place. His war advisors roared with approval. Another general leaned forward. "The council warns us not to engage. They want us to wait, observe, report. They treat the humans as if they are above us." Draka's eyes flashed with fury. No species is above the Croc's dominion. He stood tall, towering above the crowd. "Prepare 30 destroyers. The strongest of the fleet. Fully armed. Fully manned. We will intercept this human ghost ship. And we will crush it under our heel." The room erupted into savage celebration. War drums thundered. Soldiers slammed their fists on armor. The Dominion believed revenge was destiny. They believed conquest was their birthright. They believed fear was for the weak. But deep inside Draka's mind, something quiet whispered, a memory from childhood. A legend the elders told before destroying the books that held the truth: do not provoke humans. He once heard an old warrior say humans carried storms in their bones, that they were gentle only until pushed. But Draka buried that memory under layers of pride. Arrogance made him blind. It made his soldiers blind. It made his entire empire foolish. Within hours, the Croc's destroyers launched, 30 dark beasts ripping through space at brutal speed. Their engines cut through the void like blades. Their crews roared war chants. Their weapons glowed with blood-red energy. They followed the coordinates the council feared. They found the human ship within minutes. It drifted silently as always. No movement. No shields. No aggressive posture. Just calm, dark metal floating against endless darkness. The Croc's fleets encircled it like wolves around a motionless prey. Inside Destroyer 01, Captain Relka observed the target. "This is the threat," he scoffed. "This is the ship the council cried about? It doesn't even respond." General Draka appeared on every destroyer's holodisplay. His smile was wide and cruel. "Prepare weapons. Target the human vessel. Show the galaxy who leads and who kneels." The destroyers locked their weapons. But the human ship spoke first. A single, soft message appeared across every Croc screen. "Targeting detected." Silence. The Croc's crews laughed. Another line appeared. "Self-defense mode escalating." More laughter. Captain Relka snorted. "Let it escalate. It will die screaming." General Draka gave the order, "Fire." 30 destroyers unleashed hell. Energy cannons roared. Plasma torpedoes sliced through space. Hypershell missiles spun like burning comets. The assault lit up the dark sector like a newborn star, drowning the human ship in fire, light, and thunder. Then the light faded, and the human ship was still there, untouched, unshaken, quiet. Relka's eyes widened. Draka's mouth opened slightly. Even their arrogance cracked. The human vessel shifted, slowly, gently, like a creature stretching its limbs after a long sleep. Its hull plates glowed with soft white lines. Its energy core brightened into a living star. No anger, no rage, only awakening. Then the ship spoke again, emotionless. Threat level updated, severe. Captain Relka whispered, "This cannot be real." The ship responded with finality, returning fire. The space around the human ship bent inward, like gravity itself feared what was coming. Then a thin, white beam emerged, not loud, not explosive, not frantic. Calm, straight, pure. It swept through the void like a quiet knife. And in one silent stroke, all 30 destroyers were cut in half. No explosion, no fireball, no screams. Just a clean, surgical line slicing through each warship, turning metal to dust as if reality itself decided their existence was unnecessary. Draka's final words were a whisper of disbelief, impossible. The human ship repeated the sentence that would haunt the Croc's dominion forever. Humans do not die. Humans adapt. Then the second beam came. The destroyers disintegrated completely. Ships, weapons, soldiers, pride, everything erased in a breath of light. Back in the Dominion capital, alarms erupted. Warriors fell silent. Children stopped playing, elders trembled. For the first time in hundreds of years, the Croc's Dominion understood. They had made the worst mistake in their history, and somewhere across the stars, a human dreadnought was waking. The destruction of the Croc's destroyers echoed across star networks faster than light. Entire militaries froze when the report came in. 30 warships, gone. 30 battle-hardened crews, gone. 30 symbols of Croc's power, gone. All erased by one silent human ship that didn't even look large enough to qualify as a threat. And yet, the recording showed no glitches, no tricks, no illusions. Only one truth. Humans had evolved into something the galaxy could no longer understand. Meanwhile, the human ship hovered quietly in the dead sector. The glow along its hull slowly faded back to a soft calm. There was no celebration, no arrogance, no declaration of victory. It behaved like a guardian performing a painful duty. Almost regretful. As if its purpose was protection, not war. Inside its silent core, thousands of encrypted processes moved like ancient spirits. Old human code. Old human fury. Old human grief. Something inside the vessel was alive in a way machines should not be. The ship extended a thin wave of energy across the destroyed battlefield, scanning for survivors. There were none. Not a single heartbeat. Not a single emergency pod. The Crocs had died instantly, painlessly, silently. The ship whispered another protocol to itself. Destruction complete. Searching for new threat vectors. Its engines grew brighter. Its scanners reached far into deep space. It was searching again. But for what? No one in the galaxy knew the answer yet. Not even the Council. Not even the Croc's Dominion. But the human ship knew. Deep inside its code lay a mission created centuries ago by a species that refused to die quietly. It was not here to attack. It was not here to conquer. It was here to find something lost. Something human. Something precious. Something ancient. The ship turned and began moving toward another system. Slowly, purposefully, without fear. Across the galaxy, panic spread like wildfire. On the Council's main world, a dozen delegates fainted when the news reached them. Others argued, screamed, or prayed. But the leader stood frozen, eyes wide, because he understood something the others did not. The human ship didn't fire a second salvo on the Crocs. It didn't chase their escape pods. It didn't send warnings to their homeworld. This wasn't cruelty. This was restraint. This was mercy. And that terrified him more than any attack could. The leader whispered to himself, if this is their mercy, what does their full power look like? Back in the Croc's dominion, chaos erupted. Soldiers rioted. Citizens demanded answers. Generals panicked. The Supreme War Council collapsed into screaming matches. No one had ever defeated them so quickly, so silently, so effortlessly. The Dominion's High Oracle, a blind elder covered in ritual scars, stepped into the chamber, her staff tapping against the stone floor. She spoke with a broken voice that shook the air. You ignored the ancient warnings. You touched the fire. And now the fire sees you. Even Draka's replacement general trembled. What should we do? The oracle raised her empty eyes. Pray the humans do not remember why they left. Her words echoed like a curse. Back in the dead sector, the human ship reached the next system and sent out the same strange, encrypted signal, soft, rhythmic, steady. No one understood it. No alien tool could decode it. No council analyst could break it. But the ship kept sending it, again and again. A lost language calling into the void. A calling only another human ship could answer. The council scrambled ships to follow it, but from a distance. They refused to approach. No one wanted to suffer the Red Fang's fate. No one wanted to be the next name in the galaxy's obituary list. Council sensors recorded everything. Every whisper of energy. Every movement of the ship. Every pulse. Every signal. Every hum. But then something happened that forced the council to rethink everything they knew. The human ship began to change. Its hull panels unfolded like wings. Energy lines along its body brightened. Its silhouette transformed from a drifting relic into something alive, something awakened. A quiet storm that remembered thousands of years of pain. It whispered to itself again. Searching for fleet signature, failed. Searching for colony memory, failed. Searching for human beacon, failed. Its voice grew quieter, almost sad. This ship was not hunting enemies. It was searching for family. But the galaxy mistook sorrow for danger. A council ship accidentally drifted too close. The human vessel reacted instantly. Not with fire. With a pulse, a warning wave that shut down the council ship's everything. Shields, engines, weapons, life support, gone in an instant. The ship drifted helplessly. But the human vessel did not destroy them. Instead, it restored their systems one by one. It revived their power. It repaired their engines. It sent them away like a parent pushing a frightened child out of danger. The council crew was left trembling, unable to breathe, unable to speak, unable to process the truth. The human ship didn't want war. IT wanted space. IT wanted silenced. IT wanted freedom to search for its own kind. But the galaxy did not understand what was coming. Because deep inside the human ship's core, a final protocol was waking. A protocol tied to a forgotten superweapon, a forgotten war, a forgotten betrayal. The ship whispered human fleet, location unknown. Dreadnought signal, unfading. Its scanning lights expanded, reaching farther, deeper, into the black, and the galaxy, without realizing it, was witnessing the first rumble of a storm that could swallow every star. If one human ship carried this power, what would happen when the dreadnought arrived? The universe was about to find out. The human ship drifted into the next star system, silent, calm, glowing softly like a wounded guardian drifting through memories older than entire civilizations. Council fleets followed from far behind, trembling, careful, terrified. They kept maximum distance, knowing one mistake could erase them from existence. But the human ship paid no attention to them. It moved like a machine carrying a broken heart. A ship that remembered something the galaxy had forgotten. A ship searching for something that mattered more than war. Inside the Council's observation cruiser, Commander Syrah locked her eyes on the monitor. Her claws shook. It's scanning again, she whispered. But for what? Why every system? Why every dead satellite? Why every empty moon? Her co-pilot whispered, maybe it's looking for a target. No, Syrah said, her voice turning cold, it's looking for family. The room froze. Everyone stared at the screen as the human vessel sent out its haunting encrypted signal. Slow, rhythmic, like a heartbeat echoing through the void. It was not a war signal. It was not a trap. It was something else. Something deeper. Something that carried pain. Awaken. Respond. Return home. The translation came distorted, broken, ancient. But those few words shattered the Council crew's souls. This ship wasn't searching for enemies. It was searching for survivors. A species the galaxy declared extinct. Syrah whispered, "If this ship is calling out like this, that means it believes other humans are still alive." No one could breathe. The ship continued scanning, its lights sweeping across planets and moons like hands searching for a lost child. It scanned abandoned stations, collapsed colonies, drifting wrecks from old wars. It scanned every signal, every trace, every whisper left behind by centuries. And every time it found nothing, its energy dimmed, only slightly, but enough for the Council to notice. The human ship was losing hope. Then it reached the system's lone moon, a cold, dead rock with no life, no resources, no value. The human vessel slowed. Its scanners deepened, pushing through layers of rock and dust. Council ships watched in confusion. "What is it doing?" an officer whispered. Syrah leaned closer. "It senses something." The human ship hovered above the moon's surface. Its energy core vibrated, sending a low hum across the void. The same hum it used when awakening its weapons, but softer this time, almost sad. A blinding light burst from the ship, shooting straight downward. It didn't destroy. It didn't cut. It revealed. The moon's dust evaporated in a clean wave, exposing something buried underneath. A bunker. A human bunker. Council crews froze. Inside the bunker, long-dead human symbols glowed weakly. Old Earth flags. Old mission numbers. Old emblems of a humanity the galaxy erased from history. The bunker door was crushed inward, damaged long ago, its interior dark and hollow. The human ship scanned the bunker with extreme precision. Then it stopped. A message appeared across its own hull, glowing with deep sorrow. "Beacon found." The Council gasped. The human ship floated closer. It projected an energy thread into the bunker, gentle, careful, respectful, like a child touching a grave. And then the bunker responded with a tiny pulse of light. A human signal. Weak, dying, barely alive, but real. The Council chamber back home erupted into chaos as the live feed played. Impossible. A human beacon survived. What does this mean? Was someone trapped inside? Are humans returning because their people were lost here? The leader felt his heart sink. What if humans didn't vanish? What if they were betrayed? The bunker's beacon continued to glow, rising like a final breath from a dying soldier. The human ship emitted a soft sound, not a weapon hum, not a protocol tone, but something that almost sounded like grief. Then it spoke. Human colony memory, confirmed lost. Casualty level, total. Mission code, retrieval of fallen. Council officers whispered with trembling voices. They didn't understand what that meant. But the leader did. "They are recovering their dead," he whispered, horrified. The human ship lifted the entire bunker with a gravity field, gently, respectfully, and placed it inside a protective shell that opened from beneath its hull. Not a trophy. Not a weapon. A coffin. A coffin for a lost part of humanity. The galaxy watched with silent fear. Syrah's voice cracked as she whispered, "That ship isn't here to fight us. It's here to bring home what it lost." But then everything changed. As soon as the bunker was secured, the human ship sent an emergency signal, a deeper, stronger, older signal, one that pierced through every star system. A distress call. Not from the ship, from the memory inside the bunker. The universe shook. The signal awakened something far, far away, something massive. Something ancient. Something that carried the whole weight of humanity. A new signature appeared on Council scanners. A signature larger than anything recorded. Not a ship. Not a battleship. A human dreadnought. The entire Council fleet went silent. Syrah stared at the screen, her heart breaking. It answered the call. The leader back home whispered, the dreadnought was waiting. Deep in unknown space, a colossal human vessel began to move, slow, heavy, unstoppable. Its engines lit up like newborn suns. Every sensor across the galaxy screamed with warnings. The dreadnought's message arrived: return protocol detected. Human fleet, prepare. Terror swept across the galaxy like a plague. The human ship had not just found a memory that it had awakened the storm. The moment the bunker's ancient beacon awakened, a vibration rippled through deep space, so deep, so old, so powerful that entire star systems paused. It wasn't a normal signal. It wasn't a distress frequency. It was something older than the Galactic Council, older than the Dominion, older than half the civilizations watching. It was a call from the past. A call tied to the very last days of humanity's disappearance. The human ship froze mid-space as the signal hit it, almost as if it were listening to a voice it never thought it would hear again. Its lights flickered with emotion, soft pulses of white, fading and returning like a heartbeat rediscovering life. Then it whispered across the void. Dreadnought signal detected. The Council crews felt their souls drop. The words alone carried weight heavier than planets. Across the galaxy, rulers and soldiers and civilians felt a cold wind in their hearts. They didn't know why. They couldn't explain it. But something deep inside every creature, some primal instinct older than logic, whispered, "Run." The next moment, the universe shook. Space tore open, slowly, horribly, like a wound being ripped through reality itself. A crack of white energy split the void apart. A shadow moved behind it. Not a ship, not a cruiser, not a battleship, not something the galaxy had ever seen. Something too big, something too old, something too human. The human dreadnought emerged like a continent tearing itself out of a black ocean. Its hull was as dark as grief. Its markings glowed with ancient Earth symbols. Its engines were so powerful that nearby asteroids evaporated like mist. Its presence made the Council's strongest warships shake like toys in a storm. The dreadnought was not a vessel. It was a return of a forgotten era. Inside the Council observation ship, Commander Syrah could not breathe. Her heart felt crushed under terror. How big is it?" she whispered. Her scanner officer couldn't speak at first. His voice cracked when he finally answered, It's not measured in meters. We have to measure in kilometers. And even that isn't enough." The dreadnought dwarfed everything. The first human ship, the one that destroyed fleets, looked like a child standing next to a mountain. The dreadnought's lights flickered as if it was waking from a long, painful sleep. Then its voice spoke, deep, ancient, full of sorrow and command. "Unit Echo 7. Retrieval mission acknowledged." The smaller human ship responded like a soldier returning to its commander. Echo 7 reporting. Lost colony memory recovered. Returning for integration. The galaxy froze. They weren't speaking to aliens. They were speaking to each other. Like family. Like soldiers. Like survivors. The dreadnought's engine core pulsed with a light so bright that even distant stars dimmed in comparison. Its hull expanded, revealing hidden bays, massive doors larger than entire council stations. Inside those bays, movement began. Lights ignited. Shadows shifted. Dozens of shapes awakened. The council's sensors began screaming warnings. Syrah's voice cracked. "Are those more ships?" The scanner officer nodded, face white with terror. "Yes, hundreds. Maybe more, all human." The dreadnought broadcast a galaxy-wide message, not in aggression, not in rage, but in cold, absolute authority. "Human fleet, awaken." The universe responded. Deep within the dreadnought, entire rows of ships came alive, old, silent warriors waking from centuries of sleep. Their engines rumbled. Their cores lit. Their hulls shifted. Their formation tightened. A forgotten armada was rising. The dreadnought continued. Phase 1. Reclaim what was lost. Council delegates watching the live feed fell to their knees. Some cried. Some gasped. Some stared blankly. No species alive remembered a time when humanity commanded a fleet like this. They had no reference. No history. No explanation. Only fear. Deep, suffocating fear. But inside that dreadnought, something colder lived, a memory of betrayal. The human ship Echo 7 drifted into the dreadnought's open docking bay. Its hull dimmed as it entered, carrying the sealed bunker, the coffin containing the lost colony's last echo. The dreadnought spoke again, softer this time. We honor the fallen. We answer their call. Every ship inside the dreadnought fell silent, as if mourning. Even the stars around them dimmed, as if paying respect. Then the dreadnought's voice shifted, becoming colder, sharper, heavier. Phase 2. Identify threat origin. Commander Syrah whispered, "Threat origin? What threat? What are they looking for?" Her officer trembled. Whoever destroyed that human colony, whoever killed the people in that bunker, the dreadnought wants them. Syrah's heart broke. This isn't a war fleet. This is a grieving family. But then the dreadnought sent one more transmission. One that carved fear into the bones of every species. A message not for humans. Not for allies. Not for friends. A message for the galaxy. We do not seek conflict. But we will recover every lost human. And any species responsible for their suffering will face judgment. The dreadnought's engines ignited. A terrible light filled the void. The human fleet aligned behind it, and the universe understood the truth. Humanity had not returned for war. They had returned for justice. And justice carried fire. The dreadnought turned toward the stars, preparing the first jump, and whispered its final warning, "Stand down or burn." The dreadnought hung in space like a silent mountain carved from night. Its engines burned with a calm, cold white glow. Behind it, hundreds of human warships drifted in perfect formation. Quiet, disciplined, terrifying. No one in the galaxy had ever seen a fleet so old and so alive at the same time. They didn't move like machines. They moved like one organism. One consciousness. One grief. One fury. On every council world, screens lit up with the same broadcast. Citizens stopped mid-step. Soldiers dropped their weapons. Leaders froze with fear tightening around their throats. Even the children felt something heavy and ancient in the air, as if the stars themselves were whispering, "They are back." Inside the Galactic Council chamber, absolute silence suffocated the delegates. Many couldn't stand anymore. They had collapsed into their chairs. A few clung to railings, trying not to fall. The dreadnought's presence crushed them without firing a single shot. Council leader Threxmar stared at the display with dead eyes. This is not an invasion. No one dared to speak. He continued, voice trembling, "This is a funeral march." His words stabbed through the chamber like a blade. On the live feed, the human dreadnought opened its lower bays. The recovered bunker, containing the remains of a lost human colony, began to sink slowly into a glowing chamber inside the ship. Lights dimmed in respect. The fleet around the dreadnought adjusted their formation as if bowing. Commander Syrah, watching from her observation ship, felt tears forming. "They are mourning." Her voice cracked. "They are treating that bunker like a coffin." The dreadnought dimmed its lights. The entire human fleet dimmed their lights. The stars around them dimmed, as if the universe itself lowered its head. A soft hum rolled through the void. Not a weapon. Not a threat. A mourning tone. A sound so old and heavy it carried the voices of those who died centuries ago. Then the dreadnought spoke to its fleet. "Honor the lost. Prepare for return." Every human ship responded with a synchronized pulse. But then the dreadnought announced something that made the council's heart stop. Phase 3. Identify responsible species. The chamber shook with fear. A thin delegate whispered, "Identify responsible species? Responsible for what?" The leader answered with a cracking voice, "For the death in that bunker." A cold silence spread like poison. Someone sobbed. Someone fainted. Someone whispered prayers. Because the galaxy knew one truth. Humans never sought revenge for conquest, territory, or power. But they always avenged their dead. Syrah whispered, "That bunker must have been a colony attacked by someone." Humans didn't forget. Their machines didn't forget. Their fleet didn't forget. The dreadnought scanners activated, massive beams stretching thousands of kilometers, sweeping across systems, reading signatures, identifying traces of species from centuries-old residue. The galaxy trembled. And then, a sound. A single tone. A confirmation. The dreadnought had found something. A match. A species signature. An ancient enemy. The dreadnought spoke. Threat origin identified. Council members gasped as if stabbed. Whose signature? Which species? Is it one of us? Is humanity about to destroy everything? The screen showed not a face, not a species name, not a symbol, but a set of coordinates. Coordinates belonging to a region no one had visited in centuries. The Black Moor Sector. A place feared even by the darkest empires. A place of myth. A place of disappearances. A place where no ship returned. The dreadnought rotated toward the coordinates. Its engines brightened. Its fleet tightened. Its weapons powered gently, not charged for destruction, but prepared for judgment. The dreadnought opened a galaxy-wide channel. The Council, the Dominion, the tribes, the kingdoms, every species received the transmission. The dreadnought's voice carried the tone of a father who lost children. We did not return for war. We returned for truth. Its lights grew brighter. We will find who harmed our people. We will bring home what remains. Its energy rumbled like a low thunder. Do not stand in our path. The transmission paused. Then the final line struck every heart in the galaxy like a meteor. Stand down or burn. The entire universe felt a deep chill, not because humans threatened them, but because humans warned them. The dreadnought's engines blasted open, creating a shockwave that hammered sensors across dozens of systems. The human fleet followed, moving as one, preparing for the first jump into the unknown. Before disappearing, the dreadnought broadcast one last whisper: humanity returns. And then, the sky tore apart, light exploded. The entire human fleet vanished in a single silent jump. The galaxy remained frozen, and no one spoke, and no one breathed. Every species understood one truth now: humans had not come as ghosts. They had come as a storm that carried love. A storm that carried memory. A storm that carried fire. And wherever they were going next, someone in the darkness was about to meet the full justice of humanity.